All right, the most complex factoring with quadratics is when a is not 1. You can't simply figure out what multiplies to be 10 and add to be 9 because that's not going to work. Okay, the one thing that changes in this case is when you factor it, remember the first two terms need to multiply to be 2x. So one of these will have a 2x and one of these will have an x. And you can go ahead and you can do guess and check and you can sort of figure out what goes in there, but it gets a little bit more complex because now you're going to take 2x times this, 1x times this, and then they have to add to be 9x. So it gets really complex. But if we take our sequential steps and you remember how to factor by grouping, we can actually do this problem by factor by grouping, just like we did in 1.7. But the question is this is 9x, and what we want to do is we can split it up so that we have our 4 terms. Question is, what goes here? There's so many different things that I can add to be 9x. We can do 1x plus 8x. Will that work by grouping? These two and these two. What else adds to be 9? We can do 2x and 7x. We can do negative 3x and positive 12x. So the question is, how can we split these 9x into 2 different things where it'll work out really nice to factor by grouping? And that's what we're going to learn in today is how do we set up the factor by grouping? Okay? And how do we split the x's up? And realize these are equivalent because if I take and add these together, I get 9x. But it's just really writing it as the sum of 2 x's rather than just a whole 9x. All right, so in your notes you'll look and see, now when we look to find 2 numbers, and these 2 numbers are basically what goes in here. How do we split these up? How do we find these 2 numbers? Do not find these 2 numbers, just write in factored form. Okay? So what you need to do is find 2 numbers that multiply to be a times c. Okay, not just c, but a times c. In this case, it's 20. And add to be 9. So that's how we split our 9x up, is what multiplies to 20 adds to be 9. Now we should be pretty good at this by now and realize, all right, these are both positive, and I don't want to go through the whole list, but it's 4 and 5. And that's what I'll put here, 4x and 5x. Now we do the same as we did in lesson 1.7. Underline the first 2 terms. I can take out a 2, I can take out an x, so this will be x plus 2 left over. Underline the second 2 terms, I can take out a 5. And now they both have x plus 2's in common. So this would be my factored form. So the new trick to figure out how to get it in this format is once again what adds to be 9 and multiplies to be 20. All right, let's do, we'll do 2 more examples in the next video, but I want you to try doing example 2 on your own, and then you can put the video back on and we'll go through 2 and 3.